Hi everybody, welcome to Watch It or Don't. I'm Tom with Matt and Dan. Today we're going to be reviewing Crimson Peak, the newest film from Guillermo del Toro.
Always fun to say.
Yes, brilliant man. It stars Mia Wasikowska, Tom Hiddleston, and not Bryce Dallas Howard, but Jessica Chastain. And it is a gothic romance with a bit of a ghost story thrown in there about a young American girl who gets swept away by the always charming Tom Hiddleston, and his sister, who's less charming, and they go to live in their estate,
in
which has the nickname of Crimson Peak, and weird stuff starts happening. She's got a bit of a history with ghosts and stuff, and it is a very, very Del Toro film, which for me is a great thing, you know.
Which we talked about how it's not always necessarily horror,
in
but
fact,
it's panned that way.
It rarely is horror, and he doesn't usually go the straight horror route. So, you know, that's a very clear warning here.
Right.
Don't go in expecting a horror movie. It's not very scary.
Or if you do expect a horror movie, it's a very Edgar Allan Poe, drama, that type of horror.
It's classic horror. It's like
it's very classic.
It's like watching Frankenstein or Dracula.
And a lot of the techniques he uses, editing and filming, are very reminiscent of that. You know, he does this thing where it's the not what is a fade out, but it closes on a specific thing during the transitions, and it's very classic horror. It feels like that, and it's such a great feeling to watch. I don't know. I mean, we should talk about the plot. The plot.
It's okay.
Yeah.
The plot is, this young American woman gets swept up, and she gets hunted by ghosts. There is something going on between Tom Hiddleston's character and his sister. Like, we know they're up to something. We don't know what it is until the end.
They're shifty.
There's a twist in the end. I don't know. It's very predictable.
Yeah.
It's nothing you haven't seen or heard before.
Every single thing.
Right.
But that is something that Del Toro likes to do, is he likes to play with these stories that we know and likes to play with fairy tales and stuff like that. And this movie starts, with the opening of the book and stuff. So it very much is like, hey, here's this very very unoriginal,
a basic story, and then watch him make it beautiful, which he does.
And it's for me, what really is the important part of the movie is that he's a master of the atmosphere, of the design, the color, everything.
I'll admit he does get that great. The production design is incredible. The sets are really cool.
I love the music. I know how you always make fun of me for jumping in on that.
The music was good.
But you've got one big sweeping, just the orchestra will play. There's a big waltz scene that's really cool. And it's a very big and happy one. And then there's this other soundtrack that's just creepier, and it just sounds like they're fighting the entire time.
I think the things like that, music, production design, costuming are great. I just think the plot of this movie, even the characters, I didn't connect with as much. I was hoping for something a little more. I mean, I know
it's basic.
I understand what Del Toro is going for, and I like that. It's just, it's not a movie that I really got into. I was more admiring the craft of it more than actually investing in the character.
Absolutely.
Sure, but they were great character actors. I thought each one of them played their part, especially their father, that gentleman. Who's in
I like the father. I like Charlie Hunnam's in this. I like him in that. But other than that,
no, I mean, it's certainly not my favorite of his movies. In fact, I don't know. It's kind of on a similar level to Pacific Rim, where it's like
it's a weird movie to compare to.
Well,
I get it. I get what you're saying.
And it's very much like, I mean, Pacific Rim was very tongue in cheek, and this one is very aware that it's not the most interesting story, but it's more playing with the idea of what we know, and taking again that classic horror and doing something very different from what we get from other directors nowadays.
Right. One complaint from me is Del Toro is known for doing such cool creature design and realistic creatures, and the ghosts are very CGI. They're not bad looking, they're cool looking. I just think I kind of was hoping for something a little more from him.
I'm glad you brought that up. I want to make a comment that I thought most of the ghosts and the creeper stuff was good. There's one ghost, however, in this movie that's straight out of Haunted Mansion, and it really bugged me.
I know exactly what you mean.
Bugged me. I was like, all those other ghosts were great, and now you've shown this ghost, and it doesn't look as good, and I wish you would have gone more minimal.
I'm entirely with Matt on that one. I actually really love the way the ghosts look. I mean, they're very skeletal, and
they're creepy
and
enough.
Right.
The joints are weird, and they're crawling
That's
weird.
Well done.
I agree, though. The one
There's
that you're
one
talking
specific
about
ghost
is
that I do
is
not like.
awful. But
Right. The rest of them I'll
Fair
give
enough.
props to, but again, it's not a main horror movie. To me,
Right.
this was a very simple, like we said, simple story, beautifully done, and I like the whole kind of classic,
Yeah.
cinema now in today's world with all the techniques that we can use. I
Well,
kind of like that.
We should go into ratings.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm not as big on this as you guys are, I think. I'm giving this 7.5. I enjoyed it. I like the production design in it. I love just the atmosphere about it. I didn't love the story as much. I think if you're into like just straight horror, you might not like this as much.
Yeah.
But if you're into something a little more colorful, maybe gothic, more a little gothic horror, you might like it. So.
I give it a 3 out of 5. I really liked it. I tell people to watch it again. It definitely helped seeing it in IMAX, I thought, because you really get to see the entire
That's true.
picture.
Yeah.
That would be one of my selling points to go see it, but because of the story, I don't really think I'll watch it a lot more, to tell you the truth. So 3 out of 5.
I'm giving this one a great, and I feel like I have a bit of a bias to give it
Sure.
a higher grade just
That's
because, Pan's Labyrinth is probably my favorite movie of all time, and it's such a spectacle. It's gorgeous. It's one of the most enjoyable things to look at, his work and kind of see everything tied together in such a, cool way. Again,
Yeah.
we've said it multiple times, but just the idea of the classic horror look to it
And all
really
this-
is just a gorgeous movie.
I was
And-
reading that all the sets were really made.
yeah,
for it.
yeah,
Nothing
they
was
had to-
reused.
they had to build it
beautiful.
all from scratch, So I definitely think it's worth seeing.
Okay. All right. Well, Crimson Peak is out now. Or watch or don't. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.